Hey there and welcome. Today we're jumping right into some of the most important tools you'll need for modern PHP web development. We're going to cover object-oriented programming, AJAX, and jQuery, giving you the skills to build some seriously cool dynamic applications.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to start with OOP to get our code nice and organized. Then, we'll use AJAX to make our apps super fast and responsive. After that, we'll see how jQuery can make our lives a whole lot easier. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a quick recap to make sure you're ready for any exam. Let's do this.
All right, first up, let's talk about getting organized. If you've ever found yourself writing the same code over and over, or just getting lost in a messy project, then object-oriented programming, or OOP, is exactly what you need. It's how the pros keep their code clean and efficient.
So what even is OOP? Well, at its heart, it's all about modeling real-world things inside our code. Think about it. You can create a user object or a product object, and each one holds its own data and can perform its own actions. It's just a much more intuitive way to think about and structure your code.
Okay, to really get this, you have to understand the difference between a class and an object. The best way to think about it is this. A class is like the blueprint for a house. It defines where the walls go, where the doors are, but it's not an actual house, right? It's just the plan. The object, on the other hand, is the real house you build from that blueprint. And the cool part is, you can build as many houses, as many objects as you want from that one single blueprint.
So how do we actually go from that blueprint to a real house? It's actually a super simple two-step process. First, you define your class using the class keyword. That's you drawing up the plans. Then, step 2, you create an actual object from that class using the new keyword. That's the magic moment. It's when your abstract plan becomes a concrete, usable thing in your program.
Now, every object you create has two main parts. First, you've got properties. These are just variables that hold the object's data, like a product's name or its price. Then you have methods. These are the functions that define what the object can do, its actions, like displaying its own info. A simple way to remember it: properties are the nouns, and methods are the verbs.
Okay, so whenever we create a new object, we need to get it set up and ready to go, right? Well, that's the job of a very special method called a constructor. In PHP, it's always named __construct. And here's the key. It runs automatically the second a new object is created. You never have to call it yourself. Its only job is to set up the object's properties right from the start.
And here's what that looks like. See how when we create our new car object, we're passing the word Toyota right into it? That value goes straight to the constructor, which then immediately assigns it to the car's brand property. So, boom, the object is born and it already knows it's a Toyota. Now, what if you have different kinds of objects that share some of the same behaviors? Like, a dog and a cat are different, but they both eat, right? That's where inheritance comes in, and it's a huge time saver. You could have a general animal class with an eat method. Then you can make a dog class that extends the animal class. Just like that, the dog automatically knows how to eat without you having to write that code all over again. It's all about code reuse. Finally, with OOP, we need to control who can access what. Think of these key words: public, protected, and private as security levels for your code. Public means anyone, anywhere, can access it. Protected means only the class itself and its children can get to it, perfect for inheritance. And private is the most restrictive. It can only be used inside the class where it's defined. This is what you'd use to protect really sensitive data. Okay, so our code is now beautifully organized thanks to OOP. But what about the user experience? Let's tackle the next big problem, those clunky, slow web pages that need a full-page refresh for every single click. Trust me, there is a much, much better way.
And that better way is called AJAX. It is a total game changer for how websites feel. The magic word here is asynchronous. It basically means your web browser can talk to the server in the background to grab new information while you're still clicking around and using the page. No more waiting, no more jarring page reloads. And this quote just says it all. You know how a desktop app feels, right? It's instant, it's responsive. AJAX brings that exact same feeling to the web. So when you're typing in a username and it tells you instantly if it's available, or you like a post and the number ticks up right away, yep, that's the magic of AJAX at work.
So how does this whole thing work? Well, it starts when you do something like click a button. That triggers some JavaScript to send a quiet request in the background to a PHP script on the server. The PHP script does its thing, maybe it grabs something from a database, and sends a response back.
Finally, the JavaScript on the page catches that response and uses it to update just the tiny little piece of the page that needs to change. It's like having a waiter bring you a new drink without making your entire table get up and go to the bar.
And this is what that request looks like in plain old vanilla JavaScript. Now, it totally works, but you can see it's a little bit clunky, a little verbose. There's a bit of setup involved. Just keep this code in mind because it's the perfect reason for our next topic.
So if writing AJAX in regular JavaScript is kind of a pain, how do we fix that? Well, this is where jQuery comes in to save the day. It's a library that is specifically designed to make our lives as developers a whole lot easier.
So what exactly is jQuery? It's not a new programming language. It's a library. Think of it as a pre-built toolkit for JavaScript. And its entire reason for existing is right there in its motto: write less, do more. It takes common but complicated tasks in JavaScript and boils them down into simple, easy-to-use commands.
And why should you use it? Well, for one, it makes your code way simpler. It also takes care of all those annoying little differences between web browsers, so you don't have to worry about it. And most importantly for us right now, it makes doing AJAX calls incredibly simple. It just lets you get more done faster.
And the syntax is super clean. It all starts with the $sign. That's basically the jQuery magic wand. Then you use a selector, like $showtime, to grab an element off your HTML page. And finally, you just chain an action to it, like .click, to tell it what to do when that element gets clicked. It's that simple.
And this right here, this shows you the real power. Remember that clunky block of code for an AJAX request we saw a minute ago? Well, look at the difference. What took 4 complicated lines in vanilla JavaScript is now just one simple, clean, easy-to-read function call with jQuery. This is exactly what write less, do more means.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground, from structuring our code like a pro to making it feel incredibly interactive. So let's do a quick final recap, just to lock in these key ideas, especially for anybody with an exam on the horizon.
So let's nail this down. OOP is all about organization, using classes as blueprints to create objects. Inheritance, using the extends keyword, is our secret weapon for reusing code. AJAX is what gives our users that fast, modern experience by getting rid of page reloads. And jQuery is the tool that makes writing all that client-side code, especially AJAX, way easier.
So there you have it. You've got the 3 essential building blocks for modern PHP applications: a solid, organized structure with OOP, a fast and responsive user experience with AJAX, and an efficient way to write your code with jQuery. The only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first?